Deep Dive with David Stendhal, where we trade without ego, no emotion, no greed, and no opinion. Before we begin tonight's video blog, please read over our trading disclaimer and remember to trade smart and accept the reality that trading futures is risky. This presentation does not provide buy-sell recommendations, and our information is strictly provided for educational purposes only. As always, trade at your own risk and analysis. Hey, Dave Stendhal here with tonight's deep dive for October 17th, 2017. And tonight we're going to be talking about copper. I've added into this column, alongside the name of the market, an ETF that you might want to look at as well. So for copper, it's CPER. Good ETF that you might want to track that obviously monitors and follows suit with that of the copper futures. So what we're looking at here with copper is all of the trends are moving higher. We've got the technicals moving higher, but two things popped up today. Pivot high on the elastic level and a rocket on our power level. So let's take a look at our trade station, get a feel for what's taking place here. I'm going to scrunch this down a little bit, and here is copper. These are daily bars. In the last day or so, we popped above this resistance level, popped right through it, and then today it reversed and is probably going to come down and retest that support level. So in doing this and having popped above the support level, that magenta line, we've had recent in this case, an elastic level that is triggered for a pivot high. What does that mean for us? Well, that means that the market has spent a lot of energy breaking through that resistance, and as I mentioned, is going to probably come back and retest. So where are we with our trading? We'll take a look at what the markets are doing, and you can see here we've got down in the breakdown of profit and losses, we got gold making some money, we got copper doing pretty darn well, and we got palladium doing pretty well. Let's look specifically at copper, and you'll see that it's really coming from just a single system right now, having been long since September 28th. And this is a 60-minute bar system, so it's been in for a while, but it is based on 60-minute bars. So it's got a nice little profit per contract, and something that I think for the most part has done quite well for ourselves. Let's take a look at the seasonals, and you'll see why I'm a little tentative here, that I'm hoping that the systems with this retracement that it holds, and we have some type of decision. Are we going to bail on the position? It is 60-minute long, or is the market going to base and start to head higher? The seasonals say different. Here's a seasonal chart, 10 years. The black line represents this year's trading. The blue line represents, in this case, the 10-year seasonals. And you can see that it has a little peak to the market here, and then it has a tendency to drop off. Nice little trading range, bounces back up, volatile as it is, and then another retracement to the downside before the end of the year. We start to see sideways consolidation, and we see in February, that's the strong month for copper. For our purposes right now, it theoretically on the seasonal basis, it will be a choppy downward type market. On the 5 years, it shows things a little bit differently. You still see a little bit of a sell-off, but you see a little bit of a choppy face to the upside. So no matter what happens, the seasonals are telling us that it's going to be a choppy market. So that being the case, obviously watch the systems. We'll see what happens with that support level. When it comes to copper, because of the choppiness to the market, I want to show this. We grade all of the markets that we trade, and that means looking at all of the systems, giving a grade to the systems, and then coming up with an aggregate for a legitimate grading type process for each of the markets. Copper only gets a C. That's basically a C plus, or about a C plus or so. Gold and platinum seem to do a little bit better. So keep that in mind with copper. It can be a fickle market where it has these trends that emerge and then they retrace, and then you end up liquidating the position only to have to reestablish positions. As I mentioned with the seasonals, it can get choppy, and that is shown and is evident in the grading to the actual market itself. So just keep that in mind as to how you want to play this out here, but I would be watching the systems very, very closely. I do want to do a little little bit of a shout out. Back on October 1st, we did a deep dive. We were talking about a wave low alert, and I just want to show you what that means when we take a look here again at TradeStation. That wave low that I pointed out back in the early phases here of this little trend to the upside, this little burst to the market, we were talking about this this wave low and what it could actually mean. So if you have an opportunity, go back in time. The actual date for the presentation, that deep dive, would have been October 1st, and you can listen to what we actually had to say about the market. We were basically hedged and looking for the market to make some type of a move. Well, it made that move, and that move was to the upside. So it was in and around this range right through here, consolidated, kind of meandered, butting up against the 50-day moving average, and then we had the thrust, and that thrust continued on until we actually broke through that support level, which is now going to act as resistance level, I should say, broke through that, and now it's going to act as support to the market. The fact that we've got the elastic level pivot high occurring here, I would caution us on the trade, and I'd be looking for the trade that we actually have out there currently for us to watch that one very carefully. It is just a 60-minute bar system, and it can have the ability to liquidate here fairly quickly. It's trend based, and it's taken advantage of that little mini trend, but more than likely, depending upon how things work out with the support level we're at right now, it could actually reverse course. So that is tonight's deep dive, and I do want to point out again that from this point forward, I'll be talking a little bit more about some ETFs. I'm going to generically call ETNs the same thing as an ETF, and just simply an exchange traded fund, something else that you can trade rather than just simply trading the futures. So bear that in mind. So that's tonight's deep dive. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching.